Hi everyone and welcome to this video. In this video, we're gonna learn about the FRCS Pay Day Report changes that was introduced by Fiji Revenue and Customs Authority in 2001, and we will go through an overview of the changes that was released. Then we will go on to the understanding of the changes in relation to PayGlobal. Some of these are the allowances, the reporting of the approval numbers, reporting of the employee gross up, ring fenced payments, and so forth. We will then go into running reports. There are 4 different reports that you will need to understand to run. Each of it will consist of its specific period in which you have to run this report. So you need to understand at which period of time that you want to run the report for needs to be selected and run. And then last but not least, what we will do is we will show you some of the common errors that we have encountered from the time that it was released till now. So as you all know, from the first quarter of 2021, FRCS made changes to its EMS file reporting. Previously, EMS file used to be uploaded every month. Now they have changed the name to Payday Reporting, and as the name suggests, you will need to report the pay details on every payday depending on your pay cycle. For example, if you are processing weekly payroll, then you will be required to upload your payday reporting file every week after your pay closes. Similar to that, if you are processing a monthly pay, then you would be required to upload 12 payment files in an year. For bi-monthly, you will be required to upload 24 payments files in an year. For nightly, 26, weekly, 52. Now, the FRCS payday reporting file gives the opportunity to make the process simpler, more accurate, and more efficient for everyone. Payday reporting also enables FRCS to respond quickly to taxpayer requests such as departing employee certificate and withholding tax queries, to name a few. Payday reporting is aimed at saving employees time and effort in the payroll department while offering employees a way to build a real-time picture of their tax obligations, a system adopted by our counterparts in New Zealand. When uploading EMS files, only TIN was validated. However, with the payday reporting, it extends its validation process to TIN and date of birth combination. Therefore, you need to ensure that the employees not only TIN but their date of birth is correct. Now, for further guidance on payday reporting and other tax issues, you will need to contact FRCS. You can refer to the email address on the screen. You can contact their landline number or even visit their office. There is a PAYE webinar that has been hosted by FRCS. I will link that in the description below. Now we will go on to PayGlobal and we will go through the changes that has been released post this FRCS upgrade. The first thing you will need to understand is the allowances. So let me take you to the allowances. You'll go to the global list over here and then you'll type on allowances. You will see your list of existing allowances. Now previously with the EMS reports, what we used to do is we used to create allowance group, and based on this allowance group, the appropriate allowance group was selected in the report, and from there the taxable gross was actually picked. However, with the new FRCS upgrade that has been carried out, there is a new field that has been created in allowances, therefore making the allowances groups discontinued. So we do not have to configure this under the EMS or payday reporting reports. If we go on to the allowances and if you open any allowance for that matter, you will need to go to the third tab, which is the details 3 tab, and under the details 3 tab you will notice that there is a field towards the end that has been created. This is a new field that was not there previously, but the upgrade, after the upgrade, this field is now available, and this field is very critical. You need to ensure you assign a taxable reporting category to any taxable allowances that will be created in future. Now, as for the existing allowances, the consultant must have done this as part of the work order or as part of the upgrade. However, it is very important for you to understand that moving forward in future, if you are creating a taxable allowance, you need to ensure that you assign a reporting category. This is one of the common issues where the values are not matched, whereby the client is unable to assign a reporting category to the new allowance they had created. So depending on the type of allowance you have, you will select the appropriate reporting category. Now, I would like to take this opportunity to show you a quick trick. So what you can do is you can customize your allowance. So if I right click and select customize columns, what I can do is I can get the taxable field onto my grid and also the tax reporting category. In that way, I can see if all the respective allowances has been assigned correctly or not. So to do that, I'll just type taxable and it will show me uh, tax uh, tax groups over here. So I'll select taxable and I can also select the tax reporting category. Therefore, as soon as you click on OK, it will show these two values in your grid, and you can see, and you can, what you can do is you can filter it out and check for all the taxable allowances, whether they have a tax reporting category assigned to it or not. The next thing that you need to do is you need to obtain an approval number for any of the following payments. These are redundancy payment, lump sum payment, or any other form of one-off payment. The approval number needs to be obtained from FRCS. Once you obtain the approval number, you need to enter that in your transaction. So let me just quickly take you to a particular transaction and show you how it is entered. So if I enter a redundancy payment for a particular employee, I will go to the text field over here under the second tab. Under the text field, you will need to enter the redundancy payment approval number. You need to ensure that the approval number needs to be entered in square brackets. Otherwise, this will not be picked in the output file of the FRCS Payday Reporting. So square bracket, enter the approval number and close it with the square bracket. The square bracket needs to be there, otherwise it will not be picked. So ensure you do that. And once you enter the approval number under the text field over here, click on OK and you can carry on your normal pay processing. The next thing that I want to show you is a ring fenced payment. So in order to show you that, I will need to exit the transaction view and I will need to go back to my allowances. So what has happened is to ensure that SRT is not calculated on a payment that FRCS has granted permission to ring fence, a new field has been created called exempt SRT and equal. This is available under the details tab of a particular allowance. So when you open a particular allowance under the details tab, you will see there's a new field created as exempt SRT and equal. So if there's an exemption for SRT and equal provided by FRCS, you can go and update this field. These are some of the things that you need to be aware of in regards to the changes that has taken place post the upgrade and post the FRCS announcement. Now, in addition to this, you also need to ensure that you are entering a correct date of birth and a correct TIN number of all the employees. Otherwise, you will receive issues when you are uploading it under the TPOS portal. What we will do now is we will go on to reports and we will look at these 4 different types of reports. So to navigate to the report, you will go to the treetop view, and under the reports folder you will click on the report groups. Now you can access the reports through the shortcut which your consultant may have created, and you can directly access it. Otherwise, if you do not have this, then you will need to navigate to the report group called taxation report. Double click it, and over here you will be able to find all the FRCS reporting that is related to this upgrade. The first report that I want to take you through is the FRCS post equal. Now, in order to access this report, I will need to right click and select edit report setting. You will always need to ensure that you perform this before you proceed further. Under the pay period type over here, you will select the type of payment, type of period range that you would run to run. You can select text PDD to run monthly. You can select pay sequence to run specific pay sequence, and you can select year to date to run it for the particular year. Depending on the field that you select, the period date range will change, and you will be required to select the date range. Once you have selected this, the month and date will get auto populated once you select the period date range. Under the employer branch number, you will need to provide, or you will need to enter the employer branch number that has been provided to you. Under the employment income, you will need to select the gross against the list of allowance groups that you will see. So ensure that you select gross. The redundancy field is for any redundancy allowances that is related, and lump sum is for any allowances with lump sum payments that you will need to select. These are optional and may or may not be applicable to the report that you are running. The next one is the super field. Under the super field, you will need to select X super. Search for X super and ensure that field is selected. Under the export to FRCA, you need to select it yes. It is mandatory for you to select it as yes, otherwise it will not get exported to its destination. Now with this text files, this will get selected, this will get exported not to your temporary directory, but rather to the file that you are specifying it over here. Now with the export of the FRCS file, this will get exported onto the destination that you are specifying it over here. It will not get sent to your temporary directory, so it is important for you to set this as yes and specify a destination path. Once you have done that, you can go to the next field, which is export sequence number. If you are running this for the first time, then you will put this report sequence number as 01. However, it is important for you to know that if you are running multiple copies of this report for the same period, every time you run the report, you must update the export sequence number. If you do not update this, then what will happen is you will write files to the same export path. Each file will overwrite its previous file because it will have the same name. I will go onto this naming convention in a while, but it's very important for you to change the sequence number if you are running it, if you're running multiple copies of this report for the same period. Otherwise, it will get replaced and overridden. The last option is the employee. So this is where you can specify if you want it to run for a particular employee. Otherwise, if you're running for all, you do not have to specify this. Once done, you will click on the run button in order to run the report. Once the report is run, you will close the report viewer. And before you do a send and receive, it's just an important step to just check if your consultant has selected this option. So right click and go on to edit destination format. Just ensure that your destination option is ticked, send to my inbox, and under the file options, send to file needs to be ticked. Regardless of the format and the file name, just ensure this is ticked. Once this two has been set up, you can now close it and then go on to send and receive. Once you do a send and receive, you can open the log file to view the log. And as you can see, the PDF copy of it has been sent to your temporary directory. However, the text file copy of it has been sent to the destination that you had specified. So if I close this and if I open the destination in which my file has been sent to, you will notice the file exists over here. Now this file name has its naming convention as well. So up till the first section of this file name is your employer TIN number. The second section of this is your employer branch number that you had entered, and the third part of this file name is your summary year, followed by your summary month, followed by your export sequence number. As you can see, export sequence number gets captured as well. So if you're running it for multiple copies of the same pay period, if you're keeping your export number as the same, it will come and it will replace this file rather than creating a new copy of it. So please do ensure that if you're running it, your export sequence number needs to be different every time you run it. Now you will use the post EQL report if you are regenerating the EMS file from the 1st August 2017 till your last pay of 2020. So if you're running your EMS file within that period, you will use this post EQL report. This report creates both a readable version of it and as well as an importable CSV version of it. As you know by the name of it, it's post EQL, so it will show you the historical EQL values as well. So this is post implementation of the EQL. Now the next report is the pre-EQL report. The pre-EQL report has the same features as the post EQL report over here, so I will not go through the features over here. However, you will use or you will run the pre-EQL report prior to 1st August 2017. This was when EQL was not introduced, therefore it excludes the EQL component of it. And this report also creates a readable version as well as an importable CSV file. The other report that is there is the FRCS Pay Day Reporting Auto Report. Now you will only use this auto report if you want the calculation of PAYE SRT EQL to be done by TPOS system upon uploading the file. And the reason why you would do that is because your current payroll system does not accommodate for your taxes and EQL and SRT. So you would only use that. Now this is not required or pointless for those who has PayGlobal, as you will not come across this situation where you would want TPOS to calculate PAYE, SRTS and EQL for you. Therefore, you can ignore this report. The report that you'll be using post upgrade is the FRCS Payday Reporting Manual report. Now, this report would be used and uploaded onto your TPOS portal. And the report includes the three major columns, which is the income tax PAYE, that is SRT and EQL. All of these three components that is generated from your PayGlobal will get captured over here and will get uploaded. To run this report, you will right click and select edit report setting. Once you come to this report, you will be required to select the pay sequence. You only have the option to select pay sequence, as like we said, you will be required to upload weekly, monthly, fortnightly, bi-monthly payment files. You cannot upload it yearly. Therefore, you will need to select it as per your pay sequence only. Once you do that, you can select the relevant pay sequence that you would want to run it for. And you will need to come over here and enter your employer branch number. Once you have done that, export to FRCA needs to be yes. As I mentioned in the previous report, if this is no, then your actual CSV importable file will not get exported. And your CSV importable file gets exported into the destination that you specify. It will not get sent to your temporary directory. And your export sequence number, if you're running it for the first time, it needs to be 01. However, if you are running multiple copies of the same pay period, then you need to ensure that you change the export sequence number to a different sequence number so that it does not get overwritten or replaced by the new one. Under the employee, you will select the employee. If you're running it for a specific employee, then you can select it. Now you need to understand that you can select one pay sequence at a time. If you try to select multiple pay sequence of a different type, you will end up with this error message. And as you can see, you are only required to select or run pay sequences of the same period end date. So please ensure that you are running it individually, or if you are running it, it needs to have the same period end date. That leads me to the next component, which is you can run manual plays together with the standard pay provided it has the same pay and dates. I do not have an example to show you, but if your manual pay and your standard pay has the same pay and dates, then you will be able to select those two together and run it into one single readable CSV file. However, if your manual pay has a different date, then you will have to run that separately on its own. Once you have selected the pay sequence that you need to run, you can run the report. And once the report is run, and if you want, you can just check that file options is save to file is ticked. This is a one-off check. If this is ticked, then you don't have to check it frequently. That should be fine. And you can double click on send and receive to let the report be sent to the destination that you had specified. Once that is done, you can go and view the file that has been sent onto. So if I open my destination path, you will notice that there's a new file that has been sent over here, which has basically the same features as this. The only difference is that you will have a 0 in the beginning of this, and then followed by your 10-digit TIN number. The reason why you'll have 0 is it caters for maximum of 10 digits. If you have a 10-digit TIN number, then you'll not see a 0. However, if you have a 9-digit number, then a 0 will get automatically added to accommodate that maximum of 10 characters. The next section of the report name is your employer branch number, followed by the year that you are running the pay period for, followed by the month of your pay period, and last but not least, it shows you your export sequence number. Now, once you have obtained this CSV file, you can go ahead and upload this onto the FRCS or onto the Taxpayer Online Services portal, and you should be able to have that successfully uploaded. One of the common errors that we got from our client was that the employee finish date must be within 1 month of the filing period. This message states that the end date of the pay period should fall in the same month as the start date. So that's something that the employees need to ensure. The other common issue that we received was the employment start date must be within the filing period. The employment start date should be within the month as the period end date. It has not got to do with the employee's start date though. It has to do with the employment start date that you are entering under the portal. That needs to be within the month as the period end date. And of course, the last but not least, ensure that the employee's TIN and the date of birth fields are correct. There is another error message that you will get if any of those two are incorrect. Unfortunately, I do not have a copy of that error message, but yeah, it would be a self-explanatory error message that would read out that their either TIN or date of birth is incorrect. So ensure that at the point of data entry, you obtain the birth certificate of the employee and as well as the TIN card or TIN letter of the employee. That is all, everyone. I hope you have gotten value out of this video. If so, please do give a thumbs up and consider subscribing to this channel. I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.